Well, let's get a take from a much more talented comedian, the host of Blaze TV's Primetime with Alex Stein. Alex, it's great to see you. Are you sad to see Stephen Colbert's show go? And what do you make of this over-the-top, insane reaction we've been seeing from the leftist media?
I mean, it's like Jon Stewart and Colbert for the last few years. It was just so lazy. I mean, to use a four-letter word that you just, connected the dots to Hunter Biden. I mean, where are these guys getting their vocabulary from? I mean, like the New York subway, it's pathetic. So I thought that he would be a little more poignant with his message to Donald Trump, but this isn't Donald Trump's fault. Yes, Donald Trump doesn't like you, but your audience is 68 years old on average. And, that's my father's age. And I'm sure that audience is good, but he's just not hip anymore. I mean, that's not what sells, advertising. And his advertising numbers are horrible, and his show's losing, reportedly $40 million. So at this point, it's just more cost efficient for them to say goodbye to Stephen Colbert. And, it's just the sad reality is that he's not as good as David Letterman. He's not as good as Jay Leno. And he became some sort of political propaganda machine and did not try to be a comedian anymore. And that's where he lost his fastball, because the Colbert Report, Stephen Colbert at one point was a great comedian. The Daily Show, even with Jon Stewart, both were great. But now that they're just such political phonies when it comes to just not even giving Donald Trump a chance, it just shows you their true character. I'm happy to see Stephen Colbert go, because once again, I don't need to see any more vaccine needles dancing on my screen, encouraging people to get, a vaccine. Give me a break. Give us some comedy, not a lecture.
Such a weird dance performance as well. Let's talk about Russiagate. Donald Trump has called for criminal charges against Barack Obama for allegedly ordering an assessment that Russia meddled to help Trump win the 2016 election. This is what the president said.
Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level. So that's really the things you should be talking about.
Barack Obama's office said that this was outrageous, but Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has doubled down at a White House press briefing today, alleging that the Obama administration promoted a contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election. This is what she said.
Any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI. To investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
Alex, just how significant is this?
Well, it's very significant, but at the same time, it's not going to be significant at all unless we actually see some arrests. And I do believe that President Obama, if he committed these crimes, he does have some sort of presidential immunity. So, I mean, I'm really not going to hold my breath for the perp walk of Barack Obama, but I think there's no doubt that they obviously meddled in this election. I mean, Russiagate was propagated by CNN and every, mainstream media outlet. So when you know that they're in coordination like that, it was done on the media scale, it was done internally. So I think it's obvious that they tried to sabotage Donald Trump. They basically tried to do a coup, but unless I see arrests, I'm not going to be satisfied, because there's so much government corruption for them to say, oh, look, there's more officials being corrupt, but they don't do anything about it. Then once again, for me, it's just going to be another incident where I, start to lose faith in our government. So I want to see Donald Trump actually go after these people. And I don't even think, this is what he campaigned on. So if people are going to blame him and say, oh, this is all about revenge, I don't even think that's the case. I do think that the American people voted for him to expose Barack Obama and the left wing that is just so corrupt. So we need to see arrests, though. No satisfaction until we see some people go to jail.
Alex, there are also claims today that Russia had huge amounts of potential anti-Clinton dirt that it sat on in the final days of the 2016 campaign, including that Hillary Clinton was taking heavy tranquilizers that Obama and others found alarming. Some are concluding that if Russia was, of course, all in on supporting Donald Trump and hurting Clinton, it would have leaked this information.
Well, yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, Russia obviously knew what everybody else knew. I mean, there's videos leaked of Hillary basically being thrown into a van like a rag doll. I think it was obvious that she did have health issues. And let's be honest, it is a very difficult thing to go on a campaign trail and live out of a bus, even if you're staying in five-star hotels, constantly going and doing these speeches. It's not easy. And I don't think that she had the wherewithal to do it. They lied about that. And it was even James Comey that brought up her emails. And James Comey is a deep state agent, in my personal opinion. So the fact that he was kind of one of the main catalysts that exposed Hillary Clinton, maybe he did that on accident, or maybe he did it because he didn't think Donald Trump had a chance in hell to win. So really, at the end of the day, it's not a surprise that Hillary Clinton was incapable of actually being the president because she had health issues and was on all kinds of prescription medication. And it's not a surprise that Barack Obama would do anything to stop Donald Trump from becoming president and potentially exposing some of the criminal acts that he might have done during his presidency.
Donald Trump today has signed a trio of executive orders, one of which directly targets ideological bias in government's use of AI. So according to White House staff, one of the measures will prohibit federal agencies from purchasing or promoting AI systems that embrace wokeism. Trump says the American people do not want woke Marxist lunacy in the AI models. And he's absolutely right about that, Alex.
Well, he is right, but if you saw Grok recently, obviously on X, went viral because it started to, say some anti-Semitic stuff. So now that they've kind of had to, reel in Grok a little bit. So listen, I agree. I don't want any woke nonsense with this AI, but I think that this AI can, spiral out of control very quickly. And I don't know how much the government can really control it. I mean, they're obviously going to put in guardrails, but at the end of the day, it's like, is AI a threat to you and me? I hope not. I do think it's a possibility that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs and people are going to be dumber because they're going to rely on AI instead of actually doing the work. That's true though. They actually they've done studies. They say the more you rely on AI, the less it works your amygdala, the part of the brain that you need for memory, and that the more likely you're going to forget stuff and have dementia in older age. And I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying, once we rely on this so much, there's Uber drivers, and they've actually done a study on this. There's Uber drivers that have driven for over 10 years in the same city, but because they've relied on their GPS so much, they can't even tell you what street is which.
Yeah.
So that's an example of relying on something.
I'm not an Uber driver, but
Exactly.
I'm guilty of driving around the areas which I should know by now, but I'm so reliant on my GPS.
Exactly right. And that's the same for every other application when it comes to using AI.
Okay, let's talk about the Epstein files. Look, we've previously discussed how Pam Bondi just absolutely botched the handling of it. Now there's been a few developments. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says that he intends to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell in the coming days. He released a statement, and part of it says, this Department of Justice does not shy away from uncomfortable truths, nor from the responsibility to pursue justice wherever the facts may lead. If Ghislaine Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims, the FBI and the DOJ will hear what she has to say. Until now, no administration on behalf of the department had inquired about her willingness to meet with the government. That changes now. And today, House Republicans subpoenaed Maxwell for a deposition to address Congress next month. Alex, are you feeling more confident that we are going to learn more, potentially see more evidence? What are your thoughts?
I must say my confidence level is very low. They didn't even get to vote on this before they went on a 5-week vacation, through the month of August. And hey, listen, it's the summer. I'm not going to fault them for wanting to take a vacation, but they could have voted on this. We could have, this is something that is a priority. It's all anything is ever talked about in the media or in everybody's personal lives, basically for the past 2 weeks, whether you like politics or not. So this Jeffrey Epstein information, for me, what I truly think and why my confidence is so low is that I believe that he was connected to people within the CIA and probably, intelligence agencies for other countries, and that if we actually know the truth, that it will just unravel the fabric of society, and it'll just, everybody will lose faith in our government and other governments, not just our government will be affected. And these are people that are high, powerful people that we don't even know about, people that are in the banking industry, people that are in all sorts of industries that we don't even understand, the military industry, we do not know how deep the rabbit hole goes. And that is why I don't believe that they're ever going to give us actual transparency. They're just going to blame it on Jeffrey Epstein and not, the other people that probably should get some sort of scrutiny for actually being associated with them. But at the same time, I do not believe that it's Donald Trump stopping it because he's on that list. That's a narrative that a lot of people have been saying. And maybe he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He took pictures with Jeffrey Epstein, but at the same time, he did kick him out of Mar-a-Lago. So what it all boils down to is, are we allowed to see it? There's levels of classified information that you and I will never be privy to. And at the end of the day, if they can have federal judges like the one Judge Rosenberg that just denied it, they're going to continue to do whatever they can to stop the American people and the world from seeing the truth.
Alex, just finally, before I let you go, we know that Donald Trump vowed to make sports safe for women again, and now the US Olympic and Paralympic Committee has updated its policies to suggest that it will comply with Donald Trump's Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports executive order. I mean, this is obviously such good news for girls, for women at the highest levels. What's the reaction to this been over in the US?
Well, a lot of people are happy, but I am not happy because this is why I'm frustrated. I actually like transgender athletes in women's sports because I'm a gambler and I like to gamble on them because they have an advantage. So I won a bunch of money on Main Khalif, you know, the gender neutral boxer. So personally, I like the transgenders in women's sports because it gives me a gambling edge. But everybody else and all the women that are affected by this, I'm sure they're all happy. But sadly, it doesn't look like I'll be going to Las Vegas much in 2025 and 2026.
Alex Stein, thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour. Great to talk to you.
Thank you. Talk to you again soon.